children. I still wish my son was here. He promised me he'd never leave me.
And some are turning sorrow into action. Jacob Howe's 3-year-old son Leo died last year after being exposed to fentanyl while in his mother's care. He's now pushing for more guardrails to keep children safe, starting in his home state of Oklahoma, with hopes of turning the effort into a federal law named after little Leo.
I started working on a petition called Leo's Law that would actually require DHS to be testing parents for fentanyl if it's involved or suspected in a case. It could have saved Leo's life, and it could save hundreds to thousands of other children in America.
Today, most of the world's fentanyl precursors are manufactured in China. The deadly narcotic has led to a nationwide epidemic responsible for the death of hundreds of thousands of Americans. According to an investigation by the House Select Committee on the Chinese Communist Party, fentanyl manufacturing is an industry directly subsidized by the communist regime.
The China Select Committee, Democrat, Republicans alike, announced to the world that China was deliberately poisoning us. We are the targeted nation, America. They wanted to stabilize our country. Are we going to have a military in another 10 years going at this rate?
Tackling the fentanyl epidemic has long been on the radar of the Trump administration, from striking drug boats off the coast of Venezuela to designating cartels as foreign terrorist organizations.
So when people in this world start talking about why are we going after these drug boats, why are we bombing and using kinetic strikes? Because look at these babies we've never had in the history of this country. Babies dying. This is what it's about. So the people that have a problem with the aggressiveness of President Trump and his administration, why don't you pay attention to what's going on? We're losing a generation.
Sam Wong, NTD News, Washington, D.C. It's been a busy...
See that President Trump is focused on making sure that our streets are safe and that our families have opportunities to raise their children in safe communities. In fact, recent polls have shown that 54% of Americans want illegals to be brought into justice, and they want to deport those who are in this country illegally. But 78% of Americans want these criminal illegal aliens brought to justice. That's because the American people understand the benefits of having law and order again. They understand the benefit of having a leader that focuses on making sure that we are a nation of borders, but we're a nation of laws, and those laws are enforced. To the brave men and women of ICE and HSI and the law enforcement that are partnering with us, thank you. Thank you for all that you do to protect our country. Thank you for risking your lives for the American people and being willing to go out and stand for what is right, stand for law and order. And the American people are extremely grateful for that. To everyone else out there, I would ask you to please thank a law enforcement officer if you see them today. Cook them a meal for their family, support them, give them a word of encouragement. It's been 9 months since President Trump has been in office, and he's made an incredible difference for the American people. Let's make sure that those individuals who go out every single day and keep our streets safe, that they get the opportunity to be thanked for that as well. And with that, I will open it up for any questions that you may have. Yes.
Thank you so much for coming. I understand that ICE works with law enforcement agencies to make sure that how people carry out our justice enforcement. And that a lot of these here in Florida, a lot of the arrests are being made through picking up these folks for traffic infractions, for example, loading them in jail. Can you talk about that partnership and how information is communicated between law enforcement and ICE?
Well, it's been fantastic to see the partnerships that we've had here in Florida, in this community, but also throughout the entire state. We have a program called 287G, which allows local law enforcement agencies to partner with us on enforcement activities. And that has been very beneficial to making sure that we're out there working together, cooperative, bringing people to justice, and then making those law enforcement officers involved in helping keep their communities safe as well. And we're grateful for that. Florida has been, I think, the state that has provided the most law enforcement agreements under the 287G than any other state. And it shows that they recognize the importance of bringing individuals to justice that have convicted crimes against the people that live in their communities, but also ways that we can support our federal government in the work that we do as well, as far as enforcing our immigration laws, but also making sure that these dangerous terrorists and criminals and gang members are brought to justice and removed out of our country. Yes.
What do you feel is for many arrests
Mhm.
going on nationwide. And why specifically Sarasota versus going to Chicago or Portland?
Well, I've been to Chicago and I've been to Portland and focused on supporting those law enforcement officers and operations there. I'm in Sarasota today because people don't get to hear the media cover these individuals that have been removed off of the streets, the good work that law enforcement officers have already done. Many times when I turn on the news and listen to the networks, they're not covering the victims anymore that we've lost because of these crimes. They're not covering the individuals that have been brought to justice. Instead, they're trying to demonize our law enforcement officers. So to talk about these individuals that have been taken off the streets and show how much safer the American people are, we can show that that work can continue. These individuals that I spoke about today are not on the streets creating more victims. There's still individuals out there, though, that we need to bring to justice. And this is a reminder of the work that we do, but that we need to continue that work and let these law enforcement officers know that they're appreciated.
To maximize your investment in time to come to Florida, you meet with, say, the sheriffs here who signed up with the program you just mentioned. Also, we're not very far from Alligator Alcatraz, deportation depot. Going to be possibly visiting there?
I have been to Alligator Alcatraz. I have visited it. I have not seen Deportation Depot yet, but we're grateful for those partnerships with the state of Florida. That has helped us with detainment centers that will allow us to host these individuals until their due process is finished and they can be removed from our country. So we're grateful for that. In fact, Alligator Alcatraz was the first project that we had with the state as far as putting together these beds, and we've had several other states now that have shared these agreements with us as well. So in Indiana, Nebraska, other states that have partnered and will continue to do that because it's more efficient for the taxpayers, but it also meets the needs that we have for bed space until individuals can be removed.
While on the subject of travel, you've received some criticism about the recent purchase of two business jets from Gulfstream to the tune of $200 million. Going to Coast Guard, which is one of your departments. It was stated by the two representatives about this, after questioning about this, he said that your frequent appearances at ongoing operations, which require the diversion of resources to focus on your security, appears to be unjustified. What are your comments on that?
These aircraft are Coast Guard aircraft to replace 25-year-old airplanes that are necessary for the mission of the Coast Guard. Congress appropriated the dollars and paid for them in the big, beautiful bill, and we're grateful that we're able to move forward and make sure that Force Design 2028 for the Coast Guard is mission fulfilled and they can continue to serve our country, not just in a search and rescue mission, but also cooperating with our Department of War. And they're helping us in incredible ways with drug interdiction and bringing these cartels to justice as well. Yes. You're saying that working families are afraid to go out? I think they should be in this country legally. They have no fear whatsoever if they're in this country abiding by our laws. And that is the wonderful thing about America. Everybody is treated equally, and we don't pick and choose who the law applies to and who it doesn't. So individuals have the opportunity every day, if they're here illegally, to go home. Go home to your country and come the right way. If they wait until we detain them and we have to remove them ourselves, they'll never get the chance to come back to America. Mm-hmm.
You mentioned, the fact that the media is not talking enough about some of the dangerous folks that you guys are catching and removing from the country. Do you think that might have something to do with the tactics, the masked ICE agents driving people out of cars and off the street or coming out of their immigration hearings? We've seen images of families where children are crying. It's just sort of shocking in this country, never having seen that type of thing.
No, I think that our law enforcement officers are doing everything appropriately and correct to make sure people are brought to justice. And that's the opportunity that we've given individuals from day one, was that if they're in this country illegally, that they can come to us, we will pay them to leave this country $1,000 and buy them a plane ticket to leave. People get to keep their children with them. If they've committed a crime against individuals in this country, they will be brought to justice. They will be prosecuted for those crimes. We've been very clear about that, and I'm grateful for our law enforcement officers that, in the face of danger, are out there every day, still doing their job and doing what they can to make sure that they are safe, that they are doing it appropriately, and that they get to go home to their kids and their family members too. I think most people look around a room full of law enforcement officers, and sometimes the media doesn't tell the story that they all have families too, and that they deserve to go home that night and tuck their kids into bed, and to be able to get up and support their family and pay their bills as well. That's what today is. 9 months of law enforcement officers finally getting to do their job again, finally getting to do what they took an oath to do, and that's uphold the law and be fair and just in how they do that. And I'm so proud of the work that they've done. They will be prosecuted for their crimes first in this country and serve their convictions if they're convicted, which many of them have long histories of criminal activity, and then they will be deported to their home countries. Mm-hmm. Well, it depends on how that arrangement is negotiated. If you remember, we work with the Department of State on every single individual, on how we organize those travel documents, how we work with countries, and how they take their citizens back home. Yeah, we had over 175,000 applicants for our 10,000 new ICE agents. We have many of them that are already out on the job. They've completed their training. We also have huge recruitment for not just ICE agents and HSI, but our Secret Service law enforcement officers, our CBP officers. All of those recruitment efforts are through the roof because I think of the individuals that are excited about defending the homeland, protecting this country, and making sure that they have the ability to go out and to do a job that they can be proud of.
That was live from Florida, where Secretary of Homeland Security Kristi Noem just gave examples of many individuals arrested and deported by ICE law enforcement during her term. She said illegal aliens can return to the...
That curfew is here. It's time to go home. The protesters responded that they were not leaving. And for about an hour, right here is Lexington Street. It stretches into the neighboring community of Maywood. Protesters stood their ground, but were steadily pushed back closer to Maywood until they were outside of the general protest area where the ICE facility was. They were dressed up in costumes, some of them at the front, where you can see a large frog holding a sign about human rights. There were some that had jackets that said Antifa on them. A lot of people in Black Bloc, as well as some observers from the legal observers as well. And that finished around 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. They were all gone by then. Tiffany.
All right, Chris, thanks for that, and stay safe out there. From a historic Gaza peace deal to major White House